This is the Coin Show Podcast. The show about coins and coin collecting. And not just any show. This is the #1 coin collecting podcast, going 10 years strong. Here's Matt Dinger and Mike Nodelman on the Coin Show Podcast.
It is episode 206 of the greatest coin podcast that we have ever produced.
Wait, I can say that because I've only produced one. You, on the other hand, work on another one.
Still saying.
Okay.
I'm Mike.
I'm Matt.
And on tonight's episode of the Coin Show Podcast, we are going to take some listener questions. We are going to do battle on the coolest thing each one of us has brought this week.
I'm going to win.
As well as just kind of interact with you guys as much as we can. But first, as always, the news.
Oh, I totally just right now it popped into my head. Who's the news brought to you by tonight, Mike?
The news is brought to us by Linoleum. Hard to say, but easy to clean since 1860. Linoleum.
I like that one. That's a good one.
Told you, I would make you laugh at least once.
I'm in. I'm totally for the week after the week I've had. Let's go. Let's do this.
Well, in a real sign of the end of the pandemic, the U.S. Mint has reopened their retail coin store in Washington, D.C.
I saw this story, and I'm actually really surprised that it took this long.
Look, with everybody, with the majority of the traffic that this store is going to see, it's going to be tourist.
Right.
And travelers are probably the most endangering people there are.
Endangering or endangered?
No, endangering, because they're bringing their germs from where they're at to, so it's all I think that if we were more tribal, we wouldn't have had quite as big a problem with the pandemic. But things move through our society so fast because we are so mobile that, that's just my thought.
Right. We live in the age of instant gratification these days. So,
yes. So the store's purpose is to establish a retail presence in our nation's capital where visitors can purchase a variety of United States Mint's product while visiting. So this is likely not going to be a destination for collectors as much as a convenient location for tourists and your average lay people.
Right. Yes. And the average guy is not going there to get his yearly proof set.
Correct. And although the article doesn't mention it, I would imagine that the annual coin sets, mint metals, and commems will dominate their inventory. It could also serve as a clearinghouse for odd-end items. Think about that.
Well, that's not a bad idea, actually.
And the initial inventory will feature a small quantity of 2021 gold and silver Eagle products.
Ooh, fancy.
Well, they probably got a lot of that laying around.
Yeah, I would guess you're probably right.
The store is giving away swag bags to the first 50 customers who make a purchase. The U.S. Mint coin store is located at 801 9th Street Northwest, and there's a sidewalk signage that helps customers to know how to enter the building.
I kind of want to go. I do kind of.
I know, and we just got through saying it's really not for us, but I'm with you. It's like
I just kind of want to go see what's there.
Think of it as a bad episode of Coin Collector.
And I kind of sort of want a U.S. Mint swag bag, just saying, dear U.S. Mint.
Well, you have to, you make a purchase.
Oh, well.
It's the first 50 customers who make a purchase.
Well, shucks. Guess I'm out of luck.
Yeah. The 2022 W Mint Burnished Eagles have been released and as of this time are still available.
Yeah, not necessarily my favorite coin series. I hate to say it. They really don't do, well, they don't do anything for me at all, actually. So,
well, the burnished version, I'm just really starting to question why.
Yeah.
It's one of those, as my buddy Russ, but why?
Why?
There's just no reason for it. And I think that the collecting public has kind of, they've seen this with the collective yawn. So I don't think there's any real reception of it. Now,
Right.
the coinnews.net article is written in anticipation of a sellout, but I can tell you that the coin is not fulfilling that expectation as of yet. I checked on Friday and saw that there were still over 15,000 of these left.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Now,
mean,
it's just not as popular as the proof coins or even the bullion coins by date.
yeah. And the burnish thing has always been, to me, just kind of a throwaway because, I mean, you know, the regular BU coins have a very, very, very similar finish. It's not like they're vastly different.
Right. They're not different enough.
Right.
Not to justify the mint mark. If you want to sell them direct to the public, sell them direct to the public. I mean, they did it before.
I agree.
Sales of the new 2022 proof sets have already reached 250,000.
So that's a series that seems to still be going pretty strong, those proof sets.
Okay, well, maybe and maybe not. So this is not exactly impressive for annual proof set sales, but it is almost half of the sales of last year's set in the first month and a half.
Right. I was just thinking they just came out with them. So,
but here's the thing: is this follows a pattern because you have all the subscriptions, and you have the people that actually do collect these. They watch the Mint website and they buy them. Particularly this year, because of the women on quarters set that sold out. And if you wanted proof, women on quarters,
right,
the clad ones, you had to buy this set.
Yeah, I guess so.
So I think that is the driver for the sales of this year's set, is to sell out of that women on quarters set. It just pushes all the potential buyers into full proof sets. But proof sets in general continue to fall. I mean, last year's silver proof set is still on sale and is still yet to crack 300,000 in sales.
Well, they're too much money. They're too much money.
The clad ones aren't any better.
Well, that's true, but
$32. I mean, that's not.
Yeah, you're probably right.
A change in status is going to make some error collectors very happy, including one of ours truly.
Oh, yeah, buddy.
A previously known double die 43S cent has been discovered to be an overdate, as the first hubbing was made with a hub dated 1942.
So this is kind of interesting, really, because I've been doing a little looking at these, and this is both a double die and an overdate, which is kind of interesting. Now, most overdates, when you think about a traditional overdate, is when they punch one digit over another in the actual single die itself, and over time the digit becomes more prominent. Sometimes, they fill the old digit and then the piece pops out and you can see it. But in the case of this one, they hubbed the die with a hub from 1942, and then they said, oh, wait, that's wrong. And they went back and did it with the 43. So it technically is a double die, but they did it with two different dates on the last digit, so making it an overdate as well.
Okay, so I'm going to play devil's advocate.
Go for it.
Simply because everybody was wrong the first time. So who says they're right this time?
That's a good question.
I'm going to propose this to you. Is there any other doubling on the coin outside of the date?
Yes, there is some doubling in Liberty as well.
Okay, then that makes it a double die.
Right.
Because with just stuff going on in the date, it just has to be an overdate. I mean, that's something that you could punch and can be done, not necessarily rehubbed, which will leave evidence someplace else. That's all I'm saying. So the doubling of Liberty is your evidence of the rehubbing.
Yes, it's both.
Double die.
It is technically a doubled die, but again, it is because the first hubbing was 42, the second hubbing was 43. Yeah. That makes it both a double die and technically an overdate.
Well, it's an overdate that was created by a double hubbing.
Correct.
Versus, being created by a repunch date, which is, I think, where most of the, the common stuff comes from. 43 over 2 was punched.
Right.
The 18 over 17 was punched. It's like all those.
The 42 over 1 dime, same thing.
Right. They were all punched versus this, which was actually rehubbed.
Yep. So neat. It's neat. I can't think of too awful many other kinds of technical overdates that were caused by this either. So, yeah, I mean, it's cool.
So the interesting part about this to me is that this is not a new coin, but rather a known error.
Right. It's a known variety.
It's been reclassified.
Right. It's a known variety because of the double die. The double die was there, and it's been discovered for a long time, but people started to look at it again and thought, wait a minute, that doesn't match up. That's not a 3 under there. That's actually a 2. And over, a lot of very smart people got together and put their heads together and decided, you know what, that is a 2. So that's why it's getting redesignated from the FS101, which was the double die, to a 43 over 42. So
yeah. So as this has been reclassified, what has the reclassification of the error done for the market for this coin?
I will give you one guess as to what has happened to that market.
Well, it isn't a yawn because we're talking about it.
They have gone to the moon, as they say, as the kids say these days.
So that is one to look to see if you have that in your error collection already.
Yep.
Because if you do, the price of poker went up.
Yep. That's exactly right. Exactly right. So it's a cool coin. It's funny how these things are making news so many years later. That finally somebody just said, you know what, I'm going to go back and take a harder look at this. And somebody did. And 70 something years later, this coin just gets redesignated. So it still happens. There's things are still out there. It doesn't happen very often, obviously, but it does happen.
Right. Our neighbors to the north have done it again. And by that, I mean made news by minting yet another.
I thought you were talking about putting gravy on French fries. My fault. Sorry.
Oh, that was, look, poutine is
gotcha.
Awesome.
Gotcha. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
By that, I mean made news by minting another masterpiece that takes liberties with the word coin on a scale we've probably never seen before.
One-of-a-kind coin, 1 kilo pure platinum, adorned with hundreds of pink diamonds from the Argyle mine. Wow. Okay, this is just one of those because you can type deals, right?
Yeah, so this is a 1 kilo platinum coin, and it's unique, and will have no brothers or sisters. It is adorned with 462 fancy, vivid, and fancy intense pink diamonds with a total weight of 6.5 carats.
Wow.
The Canadian Mint is calling this, first off, a coin, which is really stretching that. And they're calling it the ultimate. The ultimate. And if that doesn't alert you to the level of hype created, listen to this quote from David Heffel, president of Heffel Fine Art Auction House.
The place that's selling that coin, by the way.
This one-of-a-kind masterpiece is an artwork of the highest caliber, and it has been an honor to place it in an outstanding collection. We look forward to following its historic journey for decades to come.
Oh, my.
This coin has a journey. Doesn't that journey end here? I mean, this is the crown jewels. It's a coin that somebody paid just over $1 million for, and to be honest with you, I don't see it going up.
Yeah, you can't. I don't even have a picture of what's on the other side of it. I'm assuming it's Her Royal Majesty.
Oh, you know that she's not amused.
Yes, but That's all I can say to that one.
Yeah. So, as that may be one of the biggest, so what, Canadian coins of all time, Whitman is now giving us the 100 greatest Canadian coins and tokens.
Oh, cool. I didn't know they were doing this.
Yeah, me neither. It's a total surprise. So this is a must for Canadian collectors, as there's finally an edition of the 100 greatest for you now as well, eh?
You hoser.
So I've always enjoyed, Canadian coins, and this particular series of the 100 greatest book, by Whitman. It talks about the great rarities in coins in a group by group basis. And now, as an American, right, my access to knowledgeable experts on Canadian coins is really kind of limited, if it exists at all. So I can tell you quite a bit about, common average Canadian coins, as I encounter them pretty regularly. But now I finally get to learn what the rarest Canadian coins of all time are and hear their stories from a trusted source.
Yeah, right. That's exactly right. That's cool. That's they've done several of these now. They did the U.S. The 100 greatest U.S. coins, 100 greatest modern coins, 100 greatest mint heirs.
100 Greatest Women on Coins. They've done 100.
Oh, there you go. See, I didn't know that one either.
Yeah, I mean, they've done all kinds of these 100 Greatest Gold Coins, I think there was.
Huh.
Yeah, so it's Whitman has done this series. Now, I have not received a copy of this book to formally review it, but I can recommend it based on the other, just absolute quality in this series.
Sure. For sure.
Okay, now we all saw the PCGS cricket and watched it sell.
Yep. Yeah.
Now there's the prototype holder.
Yeah, this is a weird one, man.
To me, this doesn't even seem like real.
I mean, they had to. There's always in any product you're going to have research and design and prototypes, and I can see definitely being a thing. I mean, it was confirmed by PCGS that it was, it was a prototype.
Yeah, that somebody there did it.
They're probably just trying to figure out how they can make their label better or to change their label to add more information. And they wrote it. They had a meeting about it. They said, okay, well, we're going to put this here, and I think we should put that there, and this goes here, and see, I made a prototype, and that's it.
Well, yes. I mean, this goes back to, the very beginnings of PCGS.
Certainly.
And therefore would have, a real significance as far as, the history of PCGS. Yeah. But I just don't see that as being, something for your average collector.
Hey, there are guys out there like Slab Daddy who loves this stuff. And there's
Slab Daddy put his sticker on it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there are guys out there.
Here's the thing. What happens if you send this to Albanese? What does he do?
He's not going to do anything with it because it's not graded. So
he'll
probably look at it and think, oh, that's cool.
On it.
Oh, that's fine. But he'll look at it and think, that's kind of cool. And then that'll be it. So
then he'll laugh and he'll send it back. And
right.
Probably not judge him.
Right. Probably not. But that's what happens with this stuff. I mean, that is exactly why this thing exists. And I'm sure there are lots of other ones out there. Somebody was just astute enough to figure out exactly what this was.
Well, they call it a peace dollar, and yet they grade it a 0 because it's completely
well, yeah. I think it's a peace dollar. It kind of looks like one.
Maybe that's what it should say is peace ?
Yeah.
All right, back to serious. The bell from the SS Central America has been donated to the U.S. Naval Academy.
That's cool. Very famous bell.
Yeah, so sports agent and coin philanthropist Dwight Manley donated the bell as a gift to, quote, support and educate the Brigade of Midshipmen. The bell was discovered almost 35 years ago on the Atlantic Ocean floor, over 130 years after the ship sank.
Isn't it amazing that it's been 35 years since they discovered that and that whole thing happened?
Well, look, you're talking to somebody who turned 60 this year, right? So it's like the things that I remember, like the bicentennial, are kind of
the what?
Yeah, exactly. So, I'm looking forward to in 4 years when we have our semi-quincentennial. The village that I grew up in is having a time capsule opened that I remember writing a paper for when I was in, I think it was 7th grade.
Oh, I want to see 7th grade Mike's paper. We have to.
Oh, no, actually, you really don't, because I will tell you that I was probably more cynical than I am now.
Not possible.
Oh, yeah. And probably even a little bit more of a smart aleck.
Again, not possible.
Oh, but yet you doubt me. I will tell you that, so I can remember, I'm serious, I remember this. It was write an essay of what you think, because town was called Woodridge. Write an essay of what Woodridge will be like in 50 years. And my parents were getting divorced. My world's falling apart.
Oh, okay.
I'm having a really hard time. So I'm like, I don't think anything's going to change. I think we're still going to drive cars. I think we're still going to drive on streets. We're still going to talk on phones. It's something like that. And I do want to see it because I want to see exactly how angry I really was.
I want to see how right you really were.
But there's no imagination in it. There's nothing.
That's good.
Anyways, enough about me. Let's talk about me. So speaking of shipwrecks, shipwreck coins are popular among collectors.
Very, very popular.
And coinupdate.com published an article about how NGC grades coins with saltwater damage from being submerged for long periods of time.
Yeah, I mean they've kind of pioneered the conservation and processing of these coins with several of the shipwrecks, including the Central America. So,
well, I think it's because it's a kind of left field idea. I mean, one of the things that they refuse to grade coins for is corrosion. So to go after stuff that's been sitting on the ocean floor for any length of time is, it makes you wonder, right?
Sure. Well, these are gold coins. That's a little different. Gold doesn't corrode like most other metals.
Right. And therein lies the difference. In fairness, gold coins are much less affected by salt water than copper or silver. And as such, the coins from the Central America specifically weren't really damaged very badly. Because I find it really interesting that, one of the coins recovered from Central America graded NGC 67 proof like.
Yeah, which is amazing. I mean,
After
that's awesome.
Underwater for 131 years, that's really amazing.
And going down on a shipwreck, that wasn't any small thing either.
Well, yeah, I'm sure the collision at the bottom wasn't great. But the point of the article though is that NGC does have a special division specifically created for shipwreck certification.
Yep.
And apart from providing grading and certification of shipwreck coins, they also certify the pedigree.
Yes. Yep.
I think that's kind of cool.
I agree with you.
Great collections got our attention with a very desirable barber quarter.
13S and 7 Plus. That's a big coin, buddy.
Yes, it was sold last month. Final hammer on it. Do you want to take a guess?
I'm already looking at the story. I can't.
It's not in the story.
Oh,
okay. Story was written before the sale.
Okay. So it says at the time the 29 bids stood at $26,000. Okay. I'm going to say it's far north of that, somewhere around $80,000.
Final hammer was $117,000, and after the buyer's premium, the coin cost almost $132,500.
Wow.
Yeah. So the 13S is the lowest mintage barber quarter. However, it plays second fiddle to the 01S. It's believed that many of the 01S quarters were destroyed in the Great San Francisco earthquake of 1906. But I mean, look at this coin. I mean, that's just about as good as they get.
Yeah. Barber quarters, especially 13S barber quarters, just don't come like that.
No.
Just doesn't happen. 67 plus CAC. That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just one of those coins where you look at it,
Wait, what?
It's a nice one. It's so nice.
You need a towel to clean up the keyboard there, buddy?
A little bit.
Okay.
And finally in the news, Thomas Urim will be this year's recipient of the Chester L. Krause Memorial Distinguished Service Award.
Nice.
So Urim served as a member of the Citizens Coinage Advisory Committee and spearheaded the 1921 Silver Dollar Coin Anniversary Act, which was responsible for the creation of the 2021 Morgan and Peace dollar coins.
Huh, cool.
And I'm talking about the good part, not the part that the Mint messed up. I mean, he got the program created.
Right.
The mintage, the distribution of the contract, that was all factors that was on the Mint.
Yeah. Good. Well, that's awesome. I that's a cool program. We liked it. I'm glad he's getting recognition for that.
Yeah. He also won the Glenn Smedley Award in 2019 and the Medal of Merit in 2020 for his efforts to bring greater awareness to numismatics. So
awesome.
Very, very deserving recipient of this year's Chester Krause Memorial Distinguished Service Award.
Say that 4 times fast.
I couldn't even say it 1 time slow. And that was the news. And the news tonight was brought to us by Linoleum. Hard to say, but easy to clean. Since 1860, Linoleum.
You're listening to the Coin Show Podcast with Matt Dinger and Mike Nodelman.
You know what I think we should do?
What?
Think we should see if we have any listener questions first. Yeah, I think so. Don't you?
Oh, I think so. I think we should reward the people that show up.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So let's take a look.
I'll tell you what, let me go over to YouTube.
Uh-oh.
so that we have a representation there at least. And
Oh wait, I think I can see it.
Oh, you see the YouTube ones?
I think so.
Okay, cool. Because I liked being on the Facebook page.
So I did post a thing earlier today, asking in the Friends of the Coin show on Facebook. If you guys had any questions you wanted to talk about tonight, so I've got a few there. I'll start there, and you can kind of monitor and see what's going on.
I will tell you that we have a listener email.
Awesome. Well, let's check that out too. J.R. Preston, who I think is here hanging out with us right now, he says, fan of the show, says he buys most of his coins off of eBay, thinks that prices for some coins on eBay have been inflated lately, especially the buy it now listings. Is that what you have seen? Why do you think this is? Well, I'll tell you, the market is just hot right now. It's really hot. And it has been pushing prices up, and also, inflation. Inflation kind of creeps into this market as well. Your dollar just buys less coin, so the price of the coin is going to go up. The value is not really changing all that much, except your dollar just buys less of it. So, yes, I have noticed it too. The prices have been going up. My stuff's actually, unfortunately, been getting a little more expensive just for those reasons. So,
my comment is that by nature of the beast, buy it now is always going to be and I'm not saying over market, but a bit more expensive than an auction.
It's that instant gratification thing we talked about earlier. Remember?
If you put that aside, when people list a buy it now auction, they are going to list it for a price that they can live with and actually get a profit that they expect.
And most of the time it's optimistic. When I list ours, I'm optimistic. If I get that price, I'll be extremely happy, but I also do take offers. So it's, there is
the psychology on it from a seller standpoint is to list it a little bit higher than what you think you would auction it for and see if you can snag somebody on it that way, which means that in Matt's case, yes, there are people that'll actually make offers and say, well, you know what, will you take the, yes, absolutely, I will.
I saw
but it 90%. Saves a lot of trouble for him because it's either going to sell at a guaranteed profit or at an offer where he can make a decision on the profit,
right,
versus putting it up for sale in an auction where he is not. In order to attract more bidders, you have to price it under. Yeah. So the psychology is just different for the two, and I think you have to kind of take that into account.
Yeah, I agree. I also have been seeing, some more interesting stuff come onto eBay lately too. So it's not always just junk. A lot of times I always felt like eBay was kind of like the dumping ground, but now I've actually seen some real coins go by over the last month or so. So I've seen a lot of stuff too. But yeah,
well, and there's a lot of still fake stuff out there.
Oh god,
the guy who listed his 16D this week, and the only D on the back was before the I, the M, and the E. So, we have an email from David Owens.
Let's hear it.
Who says, hi, Mike and Matt. Longtime listener here from Matt's Piece of the World, Indiana. I know y'all used to do a deeper dive into a coin or coin series on your show. I kind of missed that part, but still do enjoy all the episodes.
Okay.
Although, would be nice to revisit many of the topics covered, but now with visuals.
Yeah.
My question is, would you fellows consider doing a spot on the FAO coins? They're a very niche series, but very interesting also. A ton of variety, lots of really great designs. Anyways, kudos to you guys for showing the fun side of coin collecting also, and not only the investment side of the hobby. Keep on keeping on. Thanks so much for your time, David Owens.
Thanks, David. I would love to get back to doing, deep dives. We have the series that we do called The Real Deal. I think we should get one of those in the next couple episodes. Yeah, I mean, this show has always been mostly just covering what's hot, what's going on right now, and then just either, taking us down whichever rabbit hole a question goes from a listener or educational. So definitely want to get back to doing those, and I think we will. I think that the one drawback to doing it, and you have to think about this, by the time you get 200 episodes deep into something, you start running out of things that either interest you to talk about or that you can find a good enough story with. Yeah. So, we do tend to try and bring them as we have something that we think is exceptional or is better.
but it really does become kind of difficult because either that or you're going to hear a lot of the same stories over and over again, and I just don't think that's productive.
Let's see, I have a question here. Dave Nelson said he is curious to get our thoughts on PCGS True View photos. Despite the name, his view is that all too often they misrepresent the actual look of the coin. What do you guys think?
That's his view on True View.
I will take this one because I have noticed this too. The way I always explain True View photos to people are if you were able to take the coin and put it in the absolute perfect light to see the absolute perfect look at this coin, that is what your True View photo is going to look like. Now, a lot of times you have a coin that you can move around in the light, and you can move it one way and it's like, oh, that coin's kind of ugly, but then you hit it just right and it's got something, got color or something really nice that makes the coin look really nice. And that's what they do. They are masters of making the coin look the absolute best it can. And that's their job.
So you're saying they're like the glamour shots?
Kind of, yes. That's a good way to put it. Yes, they have jean jackets on that are unbuttoned, frilly hair, and they're leaning like this.
Bedazzled.
Yes, bedazzled, and they're leaning like that with their finger on their face. So, yes, that is what a True View photo is. True View is kind of a misnomer. They should call it something like Best View or, something like that, because that's really what it is.
Flattering View.
Flattering View. Yeah, that's a good way to put it too. Let's see. I saw one go by in the chat here. Let me get back to that one.
Isaiah asked a question in the chat. The only problem is that it disappears.
Yeah. Let's see. What do you think is, Sean Davis asked, what do you think is going to happen to numismatic material compared to bullion as we continue into the recession, say 5 months from now? Well, that's a good question, and I deal with this a lot. I have had a lot of conversations about this lately. Everybody's a little worried. I think collector coins, as we get into a quote-unquote recession, I'm not quite sure we're there yet, but as we get into a recession, collector coins are going to come down, in theory, and bullion prices should rise, again, in theory. Now, with the advent of paper, if the right people don't want it to go up, it's not going to go up, but yeah, it should go up. If in the old days of pre-paper trading, we would be at a much different spot with the price of silver right now, with the current world conditions.
Yeah, so there's a lot of forces that are I would hope are really normally not at work that are at work right now.
I think they're always at work. We just see them a little more right now.
I like to think I'm more protected than I am.
No.
But the history says that generally what happens is as the value of bullion goes up and the value of coins kind of stays the same, and you find that the only ones that end up exceeding their bullion value are like key dates and things like that at a certain point.
Yeah.
And even some of those become bullion pieces and they become victims of that. So it's one of those things where I would not look for a sea of, a bullion rise to lift the tide for all boats. It's not going to happen. I think it's just going to lift the tide for the bullion.
Yeah. I think collector stuff is going to slip slightly. If not,
and then
slightly.
Isaiah Hageman asked, our Slab Daddy, asked my question for Mike. He says, what's the coolest thing on your desk from this week? So clearly you're talking about my work desk. There is, okay, so I've been tagged with the nickname at work.
Can I try to guess it?
Oh, absolutely.
Really old guy.
No.
Oh.
So one of our world experts, Egyptologists, okay, has nicknamed me the Crow.
Ooh, like
because he looks at my desk and there's always shiny things laying on it. It's kind of like being a magpie. So it's not really a compliment, but it's
I was thinking, you know what, you should show up there dressed up like Brandon Lee from the Crow movies with the face paint, and that'd be
and die right there.
Yeah. Oh no. But then you can look at him and say, "Oh, Not that crow?
So I have made a concerted effort to get things off my desk. That said, on my desk this week, what was the coolest thing that was sitting on my desk? Oh, I have a countermarked Morgan dollar for Lovett's whiskey.
Ooh, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's about a $200 to $300 piece.
And why is that not your coolest thing this episode?
Because it's not as cool as the thing I brought.
Okay. I think I got one more question. Sarah Morgan asked, she said, Mike and Matt, I've been a collector for 52 years. That's awesome. It seems that most absolute rarities and condition rarities among U.S. coins have been made unaffordable to everyday collectors by wealthy people seeking to use rare collectibles as hedges against inflation or the collapse of financial systems. Since the numismatic whales and registry set competitors have now driven prices of many types of U.S. coins to stratospheric heights, do you think this trend will move to rare foreign issues that previously did not command high prices, nor have a large following among numismatists?
I would only question your premise in saying that I do not believe that the prices on things in general have gone up. I think in general the prices on most collector coins and collectibles in general have gone down. I don't think inflation generally affects them in a positive way.
Potentially. I think she might be more referencing the fact that we get news. We cover them all the time, news stories about really rare coins, like that 13S quarter and 7 plus that just bring absolutely large amounts of money. And, I get it. That coin's not affordable, but it probably wouldn't be affordable anyways, even if some investment person wasn't buying it, because let's be honest, that's probably who bought it. That coin probably did not go into a collection.
No, now she's right. You have hedge fund guys buying coins now for hedge funds, and so maybe that's the investment angle she's talking about.
Right, and I think that it is potentially possible that some world markets can get hot, and they get hot and cool. China, gets hot and cool. There's a lot of other series out there that can have really hot runs, and I'm not sure if the same investors will understand, because you got to realize that the guys that buy this stuff a lot of the times are not collectors. They look at the advice that they are given by either a dealer, most likely a dealer, or somebody else that they have paid to give them the advice. So those people are probably going to steer them towards the easy stuff, the U.S. coins, the rare U.S. stuff.
Super high-end stuff.
Right. Now, is there somebody out there that's going to recommend that they go towards that world stuff? Maybe. And, you might get an investor from overseas that sees what's going on here in our country and, decides, I want to do that in my country, and that might affect the market. But I just don't think that it's going to directly correlate to what's happening in the U.S. market into other world markets. I just don't see that happening.
Although I would pay close attention to the UK market, because the UK market is very strong right now for coins. And so, that's the one world market where I see things, innovations and other things coming. I see values being strong, and I see a good base of people to buy it. And therein lies the real thing, is as you get into some of this more obscure stuff, there has to be people that are pursuing it in order for the prices to continue.
Well, and I think you're referencing more modern issues, whereas I'm referencing
absolutely. But I'll give you an example. This week we saw a bunch of Pilavis come in. Okay. They're not new. They're not by any means new, but how many people collect Iranian gold?
Not very many.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. All right, buddy.
Oh, is it time?
Well, I'm just going to hit this button, and it'll tell you all about what time it is.
And now for the coolest thing to walk in this week. A competition segment between Matt and Mike to see who's had the coolest thing walk into their shops. Who'll win this episode? Let's find out. Matt? Mike? Who's got the coolest thing?
Prepare for another beat down.
No, friend. I'm going to let you go first because.
Oh, no. I went first last time.
Okay.
And I still beat you.
Okay. Well, here you go then. Let me just pull this up. Yeah.
Stuff's getting serious now.
For you guys out there that can see this video, this is a picture of the coolest thing that I bought in the office. Came in the door the other day from the mail. It is a 1776 Continental dollar. Pcgs details. The coin is not very nice. It is poor fair details, but it is definitely genuine, and that's why it's in this slab. One of the very earliest coins ever made by our government, designed. The design was influenced by Mr. Benjamin Franklin. And, these coins, I've only owned 2 of these in 20 years, and this is one of them. The other one was an AU-58, much nicer coin. But still, super rare, super, super rare, super fun, super important coin in numismatics. I was happy to own this coin, and I have already sold the darn thing. Bring it.
And that coin is a relatively amazing coin. It's from, the very beginnings of our country. It is something that's prohibitively rare.
You know how many fakes of these you see, Mike?
I see them all the time because I have 2 of them.
I know. So to actually get a real one that I was able to show customers for a little while was like, okay, this is what they really look like. I know it's ugly, but this is a real one. This one over here that your Uncle Ted gave you in 1978 is a cast copy. I'm sorry, but.
So when I was a kid and during the bicentennial, I had one of these.
Yeah.
And it had a cast edge around it. And I used to take it to the swimming pool and throw it in there and go diving for it. I mean, that's pretty much what they're good for. And this one, although the provenance is cool, I still think that that's kind of where it goes. But that said,
let's see what you got.
What I brought is on the other end of the scale. So you have a poor, fair.
Yeah.
I brought a proof.
Yes, you did.
And I brought a proof that not only has had the golden touch of PCGS, but it's had the kiss of John Albany's. CAC has graded this with a nice green sticker. Now, I think this particular coin comes from an era before PCGS was slabbing things as cameo proofs.
Sure, yeah.
This is an 1882 seated quarter in proof 61 cameo.
No, it just says proof 61 on the holder.
You're right. It's proof 61, but if we were to have it regraded, I'm really quite
I'm just giving you trouble.
Yes, I think quite certain that this one will cam.
Yeah,
And that makes it a really, really rare coin. The biggest thing with coins of this nature is that they didn't make many proofs. And so the quality on them does tend to be kind of high. The handling rate on them also tends to be kind of high. So you end up with a lot of proof 58s and proof 61s and 62s and 60s. But this coin is it's absolutely hammered. Everything that you want to see on the coin is frosted, so it points it out to you. And the reverse has probably some of the strongest frost I've ever seen on a coin of the 19th century.
Yeah, it's a nice looking coin. I don't hate it.
No,
it's no Continental dollar, but I don't hate it.
A Continental dollar, and this is more of a.
Okay, you guys can send all of your hate mail for that comment to mike@coinshowradio.com. That's his email. Send him hate mail, please. Thank you. Well, okay, that's it, guys. That is the coolest thing.
That's it.
If you guys, we're going to have a poll up so we can vote. Mike and I are tied 8-8 for the year so far. So
tied last year too.
I think we did. Yeah. So you guys go to Friends of the Coin Show on Facebook, the Facebook group. Just search it, Friends of the Coin Show. You will find a poll that will come up, and you can choose which one was the coolest, and you get to decide the coolest thing.
That's correct, because God knows Matt and I won't be able to decide on this one.
But me and everybody else already know it's a Continental dollar, so it's fine. It's cool.
It's okay. Live in your dream world.
Oh,
I think
buddy.
this segment got way more competitive.
It certainly has. It most certainly has, and I love it.
Yes, that's actually really good.
Well, friend, 206. Can you believe
In the
it?
books.
In the books. That's awesome.
As far as our recording schedule going forward, I got to tell people that, we're going to do one show later this month. I'm going to be at the ANA Summer Seminar.
Yep.
So that's going to be kind of getting in the way of what would normally be in our regular rotation.
And I got a little vacation going at the same time. So, we're just gonna take away. There's gonna be like an extra week in there before the next show, I think.
And the summer shows are going to tend to be a little bit lighter anyway. There's just not as much news to cover.
Yeah.
There just isn't. And so, maybe we can do some more of the deep dive stuff this summer.
That's a great idea. I love it.
Yeah, maybe we can do a little bit more of that stuff. So please keep your mail coming. Keep your thoughts, your encouragement, and your criticisms, because hey, we really like and appreciate your feedback. Big thanks to our production staff tonight. Corey Scherer was our unheard person behind the scenes, and we had Barry Swan helping out. We had Justin Irvin helping out, and Ernesto, as always, handling our Facebook and our social media. So we have our Facebook group, Friends of the Coin Show. We have our Facebook page at the Coin Show, where you'll see a lot of our videos.
Don't forget Reddit.
Got Reddit now, where I've really come to like Reddit a lot.
Good.
Yeah. And we've got Instagram going. We have Twitter. We have Facebook. You name it, we're getting out there. We are at the Coin Show everywhere, except no substitutes. And other than that, I don't have anything. Do you have anything, Matt?
Nobody.
Cool. So for the Coin Show, I'm Mike.
And I am Matt.
We'll talk to you next time on episode 207 of the Coin Show podcast.
And now for
I totally put the wrong thing in there. I totally did. Hold on a second. I have to fix this.
This will be edited out of the final version.
It most definitely will. The show has been absolutely so perfect so far. And here I am, not fixing the one thing. I told you guys before we started that if this show went off without a hitch, I was going to be real impressed. And we made it to the close of the show. And
you should still be impressed.
I'm getting there. One second. Let's see. Yeah, whatever. I'll add it in. You guys have a wonderful evening.
What are you going to play? The not?
No, I'll just add it in post-production. So,
okay. All right. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thank you guys. You guys are awesome. We enjoy hanging out with you guys all the time. You guys are amazing. So, you guys take her easy. Have a wonderful night. Thanks for joining us.